The first thing I noticed wasn't the silence. It was the sound of something breathing inside the house before I even unlocked the door. The liar's deal sounded simple. Spend 1 year in this countryside home, and it's yours. No rent, no mortgage, no questions. But standing before the isolated property, surrounded by endless trees and no neighbors, I felt less like I was being given a gift and more like I was walking into a trap. The porch groaned under my weight. The air smelled damp, metallic, like blood watered down with rust. And the door, it had not one lock, but 3, stacked vertically, heavy bolts, as though someone had tried not to keep people out, but to keep something in. The moment I stepped inside, my breath caught. The house wasn't stale like an old home. It was cold, bone-deep cold, the kind that crawls under your skin. Furniture sat perfectly arranged, shelves filled with dustless books, every surface spotless, too clean, too staged. I flicked a light switch. The bulb buzzed, flickered, and for a split second before it steadied, I swear I saw movement at the far end of the hallway. A shadow, bending back into the dark. "Hello?" My voice cracked. No answer. Only the faint, rhythmic sound of dripping water deeper inside the house. I followed it, past the kitchen, past the hall, until I found a door unlike the rest. Taller, reinforced, hinges hidden on the inside, and across its oak surface, 7 vertical gouges, carved deep, claw marks, still wet, like something had been dragged through seawater and left it dripping down the wood. That wasn't a door meant to protect me. It was a door meant to keep something locked inside, and I had just moved in with it. That night, sleep was impossible. The house never stopped making noises, not old floorboard creaks, but sharper sounds. Footsteps, pacing above me, pausing whenever I looked at the ceiling. At 2 a.m., the dripping returned, louder. I followed it to the kitchen. The sink was bone dry, but on the doorway frame, I found 7 deep gouges, fresh, glimmering with seawater that smelled like rot. I crouched, touched one. My fingers came back dripping cold brine. The nearest ocean was hours away. The air shifted. The temperature plummeted. Something was behind me. I spun with my flashlight. Nothing. Silence. Until the dripping resumed. This time, upstairs, my bedroom. I rushed to the staircase, light shaking, and halfway up, I froze. 7 gouges were carved freshly into the banister. Still wet, still dripping. And I had only been gone for 2 minutes. By the 3rd day, I started a digital folder. House strange activity. Photos of the gouges. Always 7. Always soaked in seawater. Kitchen doorway. Stair banister. Study wall. Bathroom door. Every night, new marks appeared. Always deliberate. Always waiting for me to find them. By the 5th night, it escalated. I woke to a dragging sound across the walls. Not scratches. Scrapes. Deliberate. Slow. I followed it into the living room. The stench hit first. Seawater rot mixed with sickly sweet decay. Then I saw it. The wall wasn't scratched. It was carved. A silhouette etched deep into the wood. Same height as me. Same build. Its arms outstretched. Fingers spread wide. And from every carved line, seawater dripped steadily, pooling onto the floor, soaking my socks. I stumbled back, choking on the smell. Then I realized the silhouette wasn't facing outward. It was facing inward, toward me. And in that moment, I knew the scratches weren't random. They were watching me, studying me. By the 7th night, the house felt alive. Walls damp to the touch. Windows rattling in their frames, though the air outside was still. I stopped sleeping. Coffee and adrenaline kept me wired, waiting, listening. At exactly 2:14 a.m., the lights cut out. Not a power outage. A deliberate extinguishing. Then came the dripping. Not upstairs. Not the kitchen. From the basement. The steel door at the end of the hall was soaked. Fresh gouges carved into its frame. This time, not just marks. Letters. One word. Gouged, deep, dripping brine. You. The floor vibrated with 7 slow knocks, each one heavier than the last, shaking dust from the ceiling. I turned to run, but the hallway wall stopped me cold. Another silhouette, carved sharper, cleaner. My height, my build. Its arm outstretched, hand clutching something. My brass house keys. They weren't on the counter anymore. They were dripping from the carving's palm. I must have blacked out. When I opened my eyes, I was at the kitchen table. The clock read 2:13 a.m., 1 minute before the knocks. But instead of scratching or dripping, footsteps. My footsteps. From upstairs. Heel, pause, toe, heel, pause, toe. I aimed my flashlight at the staircase. The beam shook violently, and then I saw it. Me, standing at the top of the stairs. Same face, same clothes, same scar above the brow. But its eyes, pale, clouded, salt water running down its cheeks like tears. It tilted its head, curious, rehearsed. Almost done, it said. My voice, my exact voice. Too calm, too practiced. It stepped stepped down, one pace, another, perfectly mirroring the rhythm of my heartbeat. I stumbled back, tripping over a chair, looked up again, gone. Only the dripping remained, coming from every wall. I lunged for the front door, shoved the key into the lock, but the keyhole was wet. Seawater streamed down my fingers. The door refused to turn, as if the entire house was breathing against me, holding me inside. The lights flickered, then blacked out completely, and in the dark, my own voice whispered behind me, "Sleep, I'll take it from here." Aftershock ending. They found the house 6 months later, abandoned, furniture still arranged, books still neat, everything untouched, except the walls. Every room was covered with carvings, hundreds of them, all of the same man, the same face, the same scar. Every carving wore the same smile, and each one, without exception, was facing outward.